Thank you very much. Now I would like to introduce today's lead discussant, Mr. Sam Fankuchen, the founder and CEO of Golden. Mr. Fankuchen is a social entrepreneur and has been actively collaborating with leading institutions such as the University College London, the Stanford Human-Centered AI Lab, and Microsoft on artificial intelligence to enhance human quality of life. So my question to you, Mr. Fankuchen, building on this discussion, where do you see the greatest opportunities for technological and institutional innovation to overcome fragmentation and accelerate SDG 9 implementation? You have the floor.
Much, Madam, and esteemed panelists. As you all discussed, and hopefully as all of us in this room know, SDG 9 is the SDG that makes all of the SDGs achievable. And we would like to live in a version of the world where problems that are solvable can actually be solved. And so as the ancient military adage goes, amateurs talk strategy, and as Mr. Major discussed, professionals discuss logistics. The question I will pose to all of you for what will hopefully be a very lively discussion today is, what will you accomplish? And as you consider that, I would like to propose three themes for your additional consideration. The first is orienting around outcomes. Partnership begins with taking ownership of achieving specific outcomes and being open to areas of collaboration that are beyond your scope of excellence. How will you clear the critical path to accomplishing your objectives? How will you break down and define activities that demonstrate progress? How will you capture structured data, what Mr. Denton just described as interoperable systems? You cannot participate in the current tidal wave of intelligent technology without a fundamentally sound understanding of your productivity, automation in capturing and responsible practices for processing your data. And we need to know if you will be ready to commit to data by default today. Number two, coexistence with AI. Pope Leo recently described humans and AI as two wings of the same dove. We have entered an era where there will be no human existence without artificial intelligence existence. And so, as we're speaking today, we just finished in Geneva, there was a discussion on AI policies, and a lot of that discussion, I understand, was oriented around protections from AI. But AI is a leapfrog technology, just like electricity, satellites, and mobility. It has the potential to transform quality of life for the most vulnerable and the most isolated populations. And as an example of this, the Trump administration just, in a very visionary move, advanced the Peace Corps from being just deployment of volunteers around the world to being a corps that they're calling the Technology Prosperity Corps. And the idea behind that is how volunteers can enable willing parties in member states around the world to understand AI fluency and how it can advance core objectives of your nation. I would encourage everyone to not resist AI or wait for the rules to be defined in order to engage, but instead to think how you can act now more appropriately and responsibly to unleash AI to iterate on your initiatives and amplify your results. Number three, how will you consider volunteers as expansive resources? 2026 is the International Year of the Volunteer, and many of the entities represented here as member groups have been involved with that, including the United Nations Volunteer Groups Alliance, UNV, IAVE, and our organization, Golden. And volunteers can be an abundant resource that puts eyes on the immediate needs of the populations you're serving and can come up with creative solutions that favor local populations the most. This is a resource that exists across all sectors, not just NGOs, not just governments or the private sector. but in fact, any form of organization that can use distributed resources. And so my next question to everyone is, how many places can you welcome volunteers to address your work toward achieving all 17 SDGs? And how can you automatically capture their data and feedback to involve iterative cycles of improving your core programs toward achieving localized results for these goals? Thank you. I yield the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fankuchen, for your valuable contribution. Thank you. Mr. Fankuchen, please.
Adam, and thank you to everyone who lasted this long in today's conversation. I think there were a broad array of different perspectives that were very helpful for us understanding the urgency and perhaps the feasibility to advance partnerships to achieve not just SDG 9, but in fact all of the SDGs. From my perspective, listening to many of the comments today, a theme that comes to mind for me is beginning from a state of understanding the systems that exist for your stakeholders and designing a closed loop for understanding the delivery of critical needs and an understanding of what sort of outcomes you will try to achieve. At the large scale, hopefully we can get to a place where there is clarity and investability across the board for anything that deserves enhancement and can fit into a global system. But there is also the bottoms-up local approach to understanding local needs and meeting them where they are. I think it's just critical to make sure that we have an understanding of exactly what we're doing, how we're doing it, what sort of results we're achieving, and to open the door not just for applying the best tools and intelligent tools that exist in today's world, but in providing clarity for others who wish to assist you in your progress toward achievement of SDG 9 and beyond. Thank you.